Hello, I'm Tim Gray from wordsthatchangetheworld.com and I just wanted to make this little video to talk about this concept of the upward path, which I found myself using more and more, kind of as a label whilst I was writing about other things, but then gradually realised that it's really the underpinning of what I'm talking about and the why behind what I'm doing. So I thought it's probably a good idea to kick myself into doing some videos and start with that one. So really it's this very old metaphor of a fork in the path, a point of decision, and you have to choose between the upward path and the downward path. And what I mean by the upward path really is a route that is based on principles, values, and a vision for what we want to be, our real genuine human values, that involves uncovering our skills and talents and working together with other people to make things better. So really it's about uncovering the best of ourselves. The downward path, well really that's based on fear. And it's based on convenience and short-term gain and fitting into society, and it's about taking the easy route rather than doing what's right for the better solution in the longer term. And we know that most of the things that we really want are on the upward path. But so often we do go downwards instead because it is easier. We can act out of habit rather than having to think for ourselves. We can fit into what society tells us we can be doing and avoid all those awkward questions from the people around us. And of course what we know now is that we're in a time when it's really important what decisions we make. And how we approach the future, and it's really important that we take the upward path and stop taking the downward path so often. So that's what I mean by it, and as a metaphor there's a couple of things I like about it which I just want to mention as well, one of which is this idea of a path. Because experience tells us that in fact we don't make a decision and then suddenly arrive at a destination. It's a process. It's a sequence of steps. And you proceed along the path and you turn and look back and the view is different. You can look up ahead and see people who are further along than you are. You can turn and look behind you and see people toiling uphill to get to where you've arrived at. I think that's a very sort of human metaphor for how skills and learning and progress work. And the other thing I like about it as a metaphor is, it expands and contracts. It can be very much about personal growth, and it can also be about the shape of society. And it's also about a big and important integration that I think is happening now. Part of my personal story, you may have seen me mention it before, is working in environment and sustainability work, volunteering and such like, and things connected to the 1992 Earth Summit that were going on where I live. I was quite involved in that, and what the Earth Summit did do very successfully was it integrated the issues, the outward issues. It said from now on there is no question that issues of environment and development are interlinked, the problems are interlinked, and so are the solutions. And if you're not familiar with the terminology of development, it means stuff connected with the poorer countries of the south, so debt, aid, trade, and of course poverty. But what the Earth Summit didn't integrate was, the outer issues with the inner issues, because the awareness just wasn't there at the time. But we know that, there's always this question, when you put big problems and available solutions in front of people, Why do they not take them but instead go off in a different direction? And the answer, of course, is it's about stuff that's happening in their heads, and it's not as straightforward as we often wish it would be. And people get lost in the sort of fog and the brambles and the shouting, rather than sort of seeing problem solution in a very straightforward and logical way. So really part of my journey has been about trying to understand that and how that works, and how communication can influence that. And the world has been moving in that direction. You know, we've got now psychologists who are more keen to make their work relevant to people's everyday lives. We've got a burgeoning personal growth movement about helping people to deal with all their inner stuff and live, more fulfilled and more meaningful lives. And we've also got the other thing which I've forgotten. There goes the professionalism. Yes, of course, online marketing. Online marketing, which of course is focused on helping you sell products and services, but is actually throwing up a lot of stuff about psychology and how people react to information, which can be used by anybody that wants to use it regardless of purpose. So there's a lot more thinking about that out there now, and I think that's the big integration that we're looking at now is, how do we integrate what goes on inside people, with the decisions that go out into the world and the shape of the world that we want to see. And really that's what Words That Change the World is about. There's so much stuff about there, so many messages about the downward path, and that can be very loud sometimes. And all those people that are laying the cobblestones of the upward path don't always have the skills to present their messages as clearly and effectively and as authentically as they could. So, what I want to do is to help to do that and to talk about what the upward path can be and how people can, play their part, and add their voice to that. So I hope that sounds like something that interests you as well, and if it is, please check out the website and the resources there, wordsthatchangetheworld.com, and I'll see you another time.